Hey everyone, every killer ranked least to most fun. We've got 5 quite hyperbolic tiers, let's get into it. Kicking us off in I feel borderline miserable, we have Freddy. There's just nothing going for him. He's super dull and there is very little to him, his add-ons don't add much, and there's something that just makes me so miserable using his little snare power. Puts me to sleep, so I guess it's lore accurate at least. Spirit follows up and is a character I've never really liked power-wise, and it's because I just think it's kind of bull. I don't get much satisfaction from doing a good phase because the survivor can't see me. I find it annoying that I need my sound up and have to rely on scratch marks, which can be a bit inconsistent. A combination of just fundamentally not enjoying her power, but also her inaccessibility. I literally just play her when I need footage. Xenomorph I just don't think is very fair and it puts me off. When I get a tail hit, I feel nothing. I just think, yeah, you couldn't dodge that. Zooming around the tunnels is kind of fun, but mostly I don't really enjoy Xeno, and primarily for the fact that I don't think the tail attack is fair, which I say too as a probably quite bad Xenomorph player. I also find the flame turrets just kind of irritating. The beeping and the flames going in my face just really bothers me for some reason. Dredge I love as a character, but I've never enjoyed playing it. I find the power to be a bit too incoherent. It feels like the abilities don't fit together all too well, but I do think that's a me thing. I find Dredge weirdly slow and quite irritating to play sometimes. Nightfall can be fun, and the occasional moment of surprise is satisfying, but I don't enjoy Dredge on the whole. Also, the locker inconsistency between maps is just genuinely annoying. I find that quite bothersome. Sadako I think I just find a bit confusing at this point, and I also don't like what I become when I play her. I spend all game chasing that condemned, and when I get it, it just never hits in the same way I think it will. It just falls a bit flat, and then I feel sort of bad for morrying the survivor. Her add-ons are a little weird, her stealth mechanics I find a little bit annoying, and they're also a bit too loud, I think. As a character I just feel a bit annoying for playing, and I don't think her main condemned mechanic is particularly healthy still. Doctor has never really clicked with me. I personally find his gameplay just really basic and quite dull. I don't get much enjoyment from timing the shocks or applying madness. I sort of feel like the fun part of Doctor is the part you don't even get to see or interact with when you play him, which to me is the hallucinations and the confusion aspect. I just feel like I'm playing generic killer when I'm on Doctor. He does have some nice add-ons, but again you don't really see the effect of them. You can only sort of imagine how it's affecting the survivors. I like facing Doctor, so it's not even a dislike for the power necessarily, it's just a dislike for the use of it. I'd rather not play them is starting off with Hag. Hag is a character I don't dislike playing, but I just really don't like playing a lot, which I feel has to count for something. I enjoy a good Hag game every 3 months or so. Anything more and I begin to feel my enjoyment dropping. Hag does have a cool set of add-ons which helps though, and a very unique power too, but she's very intensive on your focus and game sense. Majority of the time therefore, she's a character I'd rather just not play, but it doesn't mean I dislike her, it's more just I'd rather pick someone else. Trapper is another character much like Hag who just requires you to pretty much always be fully engaged, and I'm just not always in the mood for that. There's a lot of thought that goes into Trapper, and one big thing for him is awareness and doing your best to get survivors toward traps. I do enjoy Trapper's add-ons a decent amount, he's got some really fun ones, but it's just I'd rather not a lot of the time. The satisfaction doesn't quite outweigh the frustrations of the character. I like him, but I'd rather not most of the time. Twins have just never connected with me really. I don't mind playing them every now and then, and I do find something satisfying like a nice Victor shot. However, most of the time I just don't have much fun. They're not so janky anymore, which does help, but I just don't quite like how they feel. I know that's a weird, unclear descriptor of my experience there, but I'm not too sure how to place it. They just don't feel right when I'm playing them. Something feels off. Dracula doesn't do much for me either. I'm not going to lie. It's a bit like Dredge. I just feel the abilities don't work the best together. They feel a bit weird in their purpose sometimes, especially the wolf. Sorry, wolf. I just feel I end up mainly just staying in vampire form and then teleporting every now and then with the bat. The bat? Largely though, I just don't get much entertainment out of Dracula. I just feel there's other characters who do his abilities better. For each of his forms, I just feel they're a lesser version of something else in the game. We're talking fun-wise there too. Skull Merchant, oh Skull Merchant, what do you even do anymore? What's happened? What's happened with this character? This is the first time I actually sat down to play her since her huge nerf, and yeah, she's not that good. Which is a shame because I kind of liked her before. I still do like some of what she has, it's just that it's really bad now, which feels kind of frustrating. Therefore I'm going with just I'd rather not, with the hopes that she'll be pulled up a bit eventually. Knight is a character I don't mind every now and then. I just don't find the gameplay all that engaging. It can be fun and sort of cool to have multiple chases going on at once, but it's largely not very interesting to have a power which isn't really active, if that makes sense. It feels a bit too passive for me. I'll partake every now and then is starting off with Legion. Primary reason being is that I feel really annoying when I play them. One of my least favorite things to do in game is mend, so I just feel bad making other people mend. I do find Legion relatively fun though. They have those satisfying moments like 5-hit downs or just making good use of your speed. It's a nice unique playstyle being able to vault, and they do have a couple cool add-ons to play around with. Wraith is just really basic and almost a vanilla killer. He's got some cool add-ons that do help out his enjoyment, but largely he's just sort of there for me. I'll hop on him every now and then and it'll be fun, but there's just not much to him. Whether it's depth, silliness, or variety, he's just kind of in the middle for everything. Pinhead is the type of character who I do enjoy, but not in large quantities. I do find the chain shots fun and to be a nice challenge, but I can never play him very frequently. He has some sort of interesting add-ons which do help him out too. I think he's just quite an intensive character and requires a good degree of focus, so he doesn't always fit the mood. Chucky I enjoy for his unique perspective on the game. Quite literally, he has a third-person perspective and is much lower to the ground than every other killer. It makes him feel very unique and almost like it's a different game. His dash ability is also pretty fun, although a little simplistic and maybe a bit too powerful. It's fun though. Chucky's constant yapping I quite enjoy too, which adds to the experience. I don't tend to play him often, but I do enjoy it when I do. Trickster's a character I don't mind, but I do find his power a bit irritating to use. I find his blades and their movement just quite awkward and a bit finicky. I do enjoy him though, and I like his voice and the vibe he has. He's got unique add-ons too if you want to shake things up a bit. He's solid as a character I can rotate in and play sometimes. Singularity can be quite overwhelming, but I think he can be played a bit more casually still. Not as well, sure, but I do find him fun still even with less focus. His core power is one I do enjoy a lot, and also just all the options you get with his power. It's sort of a surveillance, information one, but also chase, anti-loop, or even teleportation map control. He has a lot of different features to him that make for quite an interesting power. A bit overwhelming at times, but definitely fun. Blight is quite powerful, and so he's fun every now and then. He's fun to bounce around with and do some cool maneuvers, but he can get a little boring quite quickly, I think, due to his power level. Demogorgon I do find a bit more 50-50 nowadays. I sometimes find its power a little dull, if I'm honest. The portals feel sort of inefficient, and the shred is just quite simple. It's satisfying hitting a good shred, but it is very simple as an ability. Demo's still good though. I'll never complain about playing Demo. It's just the spark of love isn't quite there anymore. The whole lifeguard whistle debacle is on my mind too, I suppose. Ghostface I enjoy for his sneakiness. It's the character you feel the stealthiest with, which I do enjoy. But it's almost always a good time sneaking around or getting a really satisfying angle. My enjoyment is a little lessened due to the shroud feeling a bit annoying with its awkward reveals, but it's not that bad. Billy I do like since his rework, however I do find him a bit tricky and frustrating still with his collision and curving. He's a character that doesn't interest me enough to learn him really well, and so I tend to have less fun because of that, but I do enjoy him every now and then and the crazy speed he gets now. Plus, when I do hit a curve, I do feel very happy and proud of myself. Plague provides unique gameplay which I do enjoy quite a bit. She also has a couple of fun add-ons to mess around with too. Her two different vomits are also a nice mid-game variance that always switches things up a bit. Every Plague game goes quite differently based on the team, which makes it quite varied and fun. Nurse is a bit like Blight, but a little higher here. I do enjoy her and sort of just shredding the lobby, but I couldn't find her fun if I mained her or played her very frequently. It's fun, but there's also a limit to enjoying how easy she is. She gets a bit of a bump here too because she has some really unique add-ons that are fun to mess around with. Spasmodic Breath is one of my favorites in the whole game. I enjoy them greatly is our next tier, and our first character here is going to be Myers. Myers tends to be a bit of a controversial one wherever you place him, but I'll be honest, I always enjoy him. I like that you can be a deadly powerhouse who can mori anyone at any moment, or you can be super slow and stealthy if you wish to. Base Myers is also just solid fun. He's unique and his power is sort of ill-fitting for DBD, which oddly makes it sort of work, I think, fun-wise, because it makes the trial feel a bit unique. It feels like a bit of a different game mode. Huntress is just consistent fun, a well-designed ranged character with throwable basic attacks. I enjoy her a lot. She's not one of my favourites, but she's always up there for me. She's always a character I can rely on for some nice casual DBD, with a slight ranged gameplay twist. Bubba I found fun ever since I discovered the speed limiter for him. He used to be one of my most disliked characters, but I really like speed limiter Bubba. It makes him really fun. I never really enjoyed the single hit downs. I found them very dissatisfying. With Billy it felt more skillful, but Bubba it just feels sort of sloppy and almost like a happy accident. Therefore I like the control and challenge you get with the speed limiter. I find it weirdly fun too, figuring out what gaps he can sweep through. Making it through a tight gap feels so good, especially when it looks like you're not going to fit due to the wild sweeping. Pig is another one of those characters that I feel I need to engage my brain a bit more for. However, for Pig, I think I enjoy her unique abilities, and also stealth so much that I feel I can sort of tolerate more than I would for a character like Hag. Her stealth in particular I like a lot. I enjoy the crouch mechanic and the ambush. She's got some cool add-ons too. She's a character where when I do well, I feel very satisfied. Clown, I sort of hate myself for putting so high because I think he's dull as bricks to go against, but I just find him fun, I think. I really enjoy the unique curvature of the bottles, and the yellow bottles have started to grow on me. I used to think they were quite pointless, but I'm slowly warming to them. Clown actually has a decent and fairly unique set of add-ons too. Oni was sort of a main for a short amount of time, and has always been a character I've enjoyed, basically always. Blood Fury I just find so fun. I love the power of it, yet how sort of stiff the movement is, like you're a hulking machine. I do wish his add-ons were better. I think that's what keeps me from coming back so much. Overall, he's just really satisfying to play, and I enjoy the feeling of this raging power. Pyramid Head I really want to put in this top tier, but his add-ons are so bad. So boring. The one vaguely unique one is Iridescent for some reason, and is fairly limiting still. I like him this much still though, as his power just carries him I think. I find it so enjoyable getting hits through wall still, or making a good prediction. He's also got that unique factor with cages, and just sort of a bit of everything. His power feels like it has a few layers, and elements that are pretty seamless as well. Unknown has a weird power, but I do like it. It's very unique in how it bounces, and how it curves, and how you need to not get direct hits. It's lots of weird interactions and elements coming together, and I just like how it makes you play differently to basically any other killer. The gameplay feels a little off, but in an enjoyable way. It's not confusing or frustrating, it's just a little weird, but it works. Add-ons are fine. Wesker is a character I can hop on basically whenever, and I have a good time. He's got a nice active chase power and some nice whimsical voice lines that keep you motivated. His add-ons are also relatively unique, and can change his power and his bounce up in different ways, which I like. Also, hey, there's just something about lobbing survivors across an old dilapidated estate that just works so well, and hits those fun centers. I love them so much is our final tier for those who I pretty much always enjoy playing whatever the situation or circumstance. Artist is a character who I enjoy basically every game I play because as long as I get at least one cool shot, I'm pretty happy. There's something so satisfying about cross-map crow shots. Then you get the hit, and it always hits those good feelings. She's a bit of a weird character in terms of her power, with it just being quite odd. She doesn't appear much too, which I think is why I like playing her, because it's filling that gap where other people aren't. I barely face her as Survivor, so sometimes it's nice to play her, because, you know, I haven't seen her in a while. It's nice to interact with the power, even if it's using it and not facing it. Deathslinger I just like being a sharp-shooting cowboy. Terrible add-ons though, which is a shame, but he's a lot of fun. The reading mechanic I think is one of the coolest ones they've put in the game. That and the way the spear moves and feels, the delay or lead time you need, figuring out your shot on the fly. Vecna is a nice balanced character. He's not too hard, not too easy, but he does have a lot of different small abilities, which I like. They all pair together well and give nice variety within the match. I also just get really immersed as Vecna. There's something about having the spell selection that makes you feel powerful. You're just picking what their demise will be. So I always have a lot of fun on him. Houndmaster is the newest release, and so there is likely some recency bias here, but I'm finding her a lot of fun. There's something really enjoyable about going around with your dog friend and telling him to go maul people. I like that it's quite simple, but also there's a few cool tricks and angles to be pulled off with the pathing. The extra movement speed from the search I also really like. She is a bit buggy, but honestly I'm mostly rolling with it, finding it entertaining for now. Nemesis is a character I honestly just always have fun with. He's always consistent, he's simple, but has enough going on for him to always make him enjoyable. The zombies are a nice wild card too. My greatest dislike for him is his add-ons are pretty boring, which is a shame. This top pick is admittedly a product of playing just very casually. It means a lot of the time I just want to kick back and chill. Nemesis I feel I can enjoy enjoy whether I'm relaxing or want to focus up a bit more. He's an all mood type killer for me. Who do you find the most fun? Let me know down below. Thanks, and goodbye.